Welcome to the Whitestone Journal. Today we're going to talk about mercy. So mercy, we're going to actually talk about two different things. The first is going to be probably the more traditional view of mercy, and for that I'm going to look here at a little bit of Shakespeare. We've all heard this. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes, receives. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. The bigger you are, the more mercy you can give, presumably. And you can read the rest of this in Shakespeare. So looking at mercy just from this point of view, the point here is this. You'll sometimes hear the phrase that somebody will say, well, they deserve mercy. If they deserve mercy, strictly speaking, it's not mercy, it's justice. Let's talk about this. What really is mercy? Mercy is giving up what one has a right to, or from a receiving point of view, it's when there should be a consequence to something that we've done, or a consequence of something that we are not going to have to suffer because someone has let that go. So somebody has released a claim. So if there is if somebody steals something of ours and we find out, whether they give it back or whether they keep it, we can have mercy and say, okay, they stole it, but I'm not going to take them to court. I'm not going to call the police. I may not even ask for it back. I may just let it go. That's one form of mercy. Somebody does a wrong to us, besmirches our good name, insults us, and we have an opportunity to get back at them, not just in revenge, but in something that is more of a consequence. Somebody asks us our opinion of them, and we could say, well, they talk badly about other people, but we choose not to, for whatever reason. If the reason is charitable, that's mercy. So we have the opportunity, as it says, to give mercy, and those who receive it get a benefit. Now, we may be merciful and get the benefit. The person that receives the mercy may not appreciate it, and then they, in a sense, they get the benefit because the consequence doesn't happen to them. But they don't get the benefit of receiving mercy and having that change and transform them in a way that they want to show mercy, or that they have a response of love and gratitude toward the person that had mercy on them. It's funny how we use words sometimes. We don't really think about the depth of meaning in it. So none of us deserves mercy. If we deserve, it's justice. It's the very fact that we're not deserving, the very fact that there is a consequence that is due to us and that we don't. The essential element of mercy is that it's not deserved. The whole point is it's gratuitous. It is a gift in which the consequences are not demanded. Of course, the reading that I gave here from Shakespeare is from The Merchant of Venice, and the idea is that Shylock wants to get his pound of flesh and is being exhorted to have mercy and not take that which he is due. Now, he's been offered 3 times the amount he's originally due, but he wants the pound of flesh because he wants to hurt the person. And the reasons for that go into other things, but the point is that mercy for him would have been to have not taken the maximum penalty, but simply to have taken 3 times the amount he was due in cash. I would take the 3 times the amount in cash any day of the week. What am I going to do with a pound of flesh? But that is another deal. Now, let's look at something else. There's another aspect to mercy, and this is from purely the receiving side, is what happens when we receive mercy. Now, we have done things, certainly I have, that deserved or should have resulted in a severe consequence. It could be anything from driving too fast. I've looked down at my speedometer and realized I drove way too fast. And there's been other things that I've done that I wouldn't want to share on here. And I'm very fortunate, very blessed, and I have received mercy, in my mind, for not receiving the penalty for that, or not receiving the full penalty for it. So what happens then? And let's take speeding just because it's an easy one and it isn't quite so close to the heart for some people. In speeding, I get out there and I go to work and I drive at 80 miles an hour on the freeway and it's really 65 or it's really 60. I'm not saying that God is necessarily looking at that and saying, oh, I'll keep the police officer away, I'll turn his head the other way. I'm not going into anything metaphysical here. But let's look at it as we did not suffer the consequences of our action. I go out there, I drive at 80 miles an hour, and I don't get a ticket. Okay, it happens. Next day, I go out and I do it again. And I say, okay, actually this is working out pretty well. I can do this with impunity because I'm never getting caught. And at some point, something may happen. So there's a carelessness when we receive mercy that can occur, and that we start to say, oh, well, I'm okay. I didn't get the full consequences. Maybe I can do this and get away with it. And for some people, it can be pretty horrible. Like this guy right here. Look at him. Ooh, yeah. See what I mean? He should have quit while he was ahead. If he'd been grateful for mercy and realized that he cut a break, maybe it would have been better. But no, he had a smug attitude, and look what happened. All right, so the point is here that with mercy, there's two parts. Obviously, it's a blessed thing to give mercy, to not take something even though we have a right to it. And at the same time, if we receive mercy, to receive it with gratitude and humility, and realize that the consequences should have been a lot worse than they were, and we were very, very, very blessed that someone did not force those consequences on us. And even when it appears to be something random, or that there's no one that actually showed us mercy, treat it as mercy nonetheless, and have the humility to say, I escaped consequences this time. Next time I may not. I think I better change my behavior. All right. Whitestone Journal, thank you for joining.